But one of the occupational hazards of racing is something could go wrong. And for me, it went wrong in 1984, just over a year after I arrived to race Indy cars at these type of speeds. I actually lost control of my car at the Michigan International Speedway at 219 miles an hour. I made one spin and the car went straight into the concrete wall. This is a picture here, and the yellow arrow that you see in the middle of that mess is my helmet, and I am buried in this destroyed shrapnel that used to be a racing car, having impacted at about 211 miles an hour. Now, the car began to spin, and when the front broke off, I was still doing 150 miles an hour when I was about to go back into the concrete wall. I was probably a second, maybe a second and a half from certain fatal injuries. And another driver decided if he's to miss the crash, he's got to go to the high line. Thankfully, he hit me before I got to the wall, lifted the car up into the air and spun it down to the inside. Now, this accident completely changed my life because I had severe dislocations on my right foot, right ankle, lost all the soft tissue on my right heel. I had a toe amputated in the accident on my left foot. I had a crushed left ankle, double compound fracture of the left leg, broken hip joint, broken pelvis, broken ribs, broken hand, broken arm, third-degree burns, lacerated liver. Other than that, I think I was reasonably okay. But I actually ended up with 14 surgeries, bone grafted from my hip to rebuild my ankle joint, 4 plates, 18 screws, a 19-inch rod to rebuild my left leg. And I actually fell into television broadcasting while I was recuperating. I was asked to do an interview on ESPN. A week later, I was asked to do color. I said, sure, I'll do it. I had no idea what I agreed to. I'd never heard the term color before, but suddenly I became a television broadcaster. That turned into a 10-year contract with ESPN. And I went all over the world again doing television. I was doing Formula One. I was traveling to all the great places again. I began to do IndyCar racing on television. I worked with all the biggest names you could imagine. But the interesting thing about television broadcasting, because I was doing both at one stage, I was back to full-time racing and doing television, when I did research into television broadcasting, I realized, particularly a place like the Indy 500, which is the largest single-day attended sporting event in the world, when I did the research and realized the number of teams that went to what you call victory circle or victory lane. It's the podium. It's where all the sweat gets turned into champagne. But at the Indy 500, where the teams go to celebrate having done such an awesome job, I realized the number was so small of the number of teams who got there. And I asked a really simple, basic question. Why? Why was the number so small? What was it about these teams of people? What were the skill sets that they understood? Was it magic? How did they execute? How did they pre-plan? And how do these teams consistently end up in victory circle?